Hello, Greenlight the Day family. This is Kelly. I am here to do a response vlog to Janie's September 11th. And first, where I was when the planes hit was I was out on disability. I was working for my company in construction. I was out on disability when it happened, and I was pregnant. And I thought to myself, what does this mean for my child? I knew the world as we knew it was done. And when I look back and I think about it, before 9/11, the USA that we lived in was so different. We didn't fear for our children to go to school. We didn't have the mass shootings that we have now. It was a different era. But that being said, my children often remind me, Mom, you have to let us live. And God bless them. As a parent, I have my fears, but I can't let our fears define us. And they're like, Ma, I could go out and get hit by a car crossing the street right now. You have to let me live. And, we have a conversation within the boundaries. There are boundaries. We find a happy medium for the things that I think are appropriate for them. And then there are things that I think are inappropriate. And I say to them, you have your whole life to make your own decisions. When you live under my roof and you're under 18, I get to still make those decisions. So, September 11th was a very changing time for our country and everyone. Again, living in New York, I was surrounded by people affected by it. My neighbor is a fireman. The guy across the street is a cop. The guys that I worked with, they're best friends. You can't even imagine. Family members who worked in the building, family members who worked in the surrounding building, people that I know that said they walked home all the way from Manhattan. It's a 2-hour car ride just to get home to their families. And, those that had children in the daycares surrounding, and then the survivor's guilt that went on for years after. I can name at least 4 families off the top of my head that someone left their family and ended up marrying the spouse of someone that had passed, because there was this real dynamic of emotional stuff going on around the whole thing. So our area was affected tremendously, and still years after, I know many people who have passed since because of the cancers that they got from the cleanup, the rubble. But I also want to talk about how we came together, how it was a time of, no matter what our differences are, where we stood, what side of the aisle we stand on, we were no longer Democrats, Republicans, we were Americans. And that was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing to see people come together and help each other out. And unfortunately, at times, I feel like we've lost that. And I'd love to get back to that. I've been watching Jay Shetty and listening to him, and I'm telling you, I'm inspired every time I hear one of his interviews or I hear him talk, and it just makes me want to be a better me, a better parent, a better sister, a better wife, a better friend. And I think that's where it all starts. I spent so many years having expectations of others where that's not fair. And there's just been so much self-discovery. And if you want to have a good friend, it needs to start with being a better friend. If you want to have a better spouse, I need to be a better spouse. just so many lessons learned. And if like Jane said, if we all loved each other more, if we came from a place of love, would something like that have happened? I don't know. Probably not, if you ask me. But all of us coming from a place of love, is that unrealistic? Maybe. We all battle a lot of different demons, but I just feel like we've come a long way. Our surroundings have changed. And it's funny because I just had a talk with my sister today, that what I've learned throughout my years is sometimes our situations don't change, but what can change is our perception and perspective. And for me, that's what life is. Life is all about perception and perspective. If I change that, then I change. And that's exactly what's happened in my life the last 2 years. And it all begins and ends with me. Nobody has the power over me. Nobody has the power to make me feel anything. I give them that power if that happens. And I can also take it away. I'm going to leave it at that. I know I digressed in a lot of areas, but that's just a lot of the things that I'm going through. There's a lot of self-work, I don't want to say self-discovery, but things that I've been working on that have now been put into practice and are now my new default, which is really, really awesome and comforting to me. Hope you all have a great green light. Bye, guys.